He asked for her ID as a joke, not knowing she outranked the entire base. The morning sun beat down on Fort Bradford as soldiers moved in and out of the security checkpoint. Most of them were new recruits, jittery, exhausted, and trying not to step out of line. At Gate 3, however, Corporal Jensen was having the time of his life. Sporting sunglasses, chewing gum loudly, he leaned back against the booth like he owned the base. He spotted a woman approaching, alone, calm, dressed in plain black cargo pants and a gray hoodie. No rank, no insignia, a small backpack slung over her shoulder. She walked like someone who had zero concern about the checkpoints, the rules, or Jensen himself. Which, of course, annoyed him immediately. "Hey," he called out, stepping forward with exaggerated authority. "Ma'am, you can't just walk in. This isn't a public park." The woman stopped, raised an eyebrow. "I know," Jensen smirked. Attitude, he thought. "Great, all right then," he said, putting on his best mocking voice. "I'm gonna need to see some ID." He tilted his head dramatically. "Or do you not have clearance for this base?" A couple of soldiers nearby looked over, sensing drama. Jensen loved an audience. The woman sighed softly, almost disappointed. "Are you sure you want to do that?" she asked. "Oh, absolutely," Jensen said, puffing out his chest. "Rules are rules. ID, please." She reached slowly into her backpack. For a moment, Jensen thought she might be intimidated. But her movements were too controlled. Too calm. Too military. She handed him a black leather case. Jensen flipped it open without looking, still ready to joke, until he froze. His gum dropped to the pavement. Inside was a silver badge, 3 clearance seals, a red stripe that only one kind of person had, and at the bottom, the title. Vice Admiral Alexandra Raine, Naval Special Warfare Command. His throat closed. Across every U.S. military branch, there were only a handful of officers who carried that level of authority, and she was one of them. He looked up at her, face pale. Admiral, Vice Admiral," she corrected gently. "I like things accurate." The other soldiers around them straightened instantly, boots snapping together, eyes wide. Someone dropped a clipboard. Someone else whispered, "No way, she outranks the entire chain of command here." Jensen's hands shook as he returned the ID. "Ma'am, Vice Admiral, I didn't know." "I'm aware," she said calmly. "If you knew, you wouldn't have spoken the way you did." He swallowed hard. She stepped closer, lowering her voice so only he could hear. "Rank is not a joke, Corporal. And neither is how you treat people you think have none." Jensen nodded rapidly. "Yes ma'am, I'm sorry." She gave a small nod, then walked past him toward the base. The soldiers parted like the sea for her, whispering in awe. Jensen stared after her, realizing how close he'd just come to ending his entire career with one stupid joke. He asked for her ID as a joke, not knowing she outranked the entire base. Vice Admiral Alexandra Raine walked through the main corridor of Fort Bradford with the kind of quiet authority that didn't need uniform, medals, or an entourage to be respected. Every soldier who crossed her path straightened instinctively, even though none of them had ever seen her before. Word traveled fast, faster than even she expected. By the time she reached Headquarters Building C, officers were already whispering into radios, chiefs peeking out of doorways, and captains scrambling to adjust their uniform collars. It was like watching a base-wide panic drill ignited by nothing more than her presence. A young lieutenant nearly tripped over himself trying to open the door for her. "Ma'am, Vice Admiral, welcome to Bradford," he said, voice cracking. She gave him a nod. "Relax, Lieutenant, I'm not here for an inspection." The relief that crossed his face was comical. Those words alone probably saved him 3 hours of stress-induced sweating. She proceeded down the hallway until she reached the command briefing room. Inside were Colonel Havers, the base commander, 3 majors, and several department heads, all standing at attention the moment she entered. "Vice Admiral Raine," Colonel Havers said, his voice steady but eyes tight. "Ma'am, we were not informed you would be arriving today." "That was intentional," she replied. "I prefer to see real operations, not staged ones." A bead of sweat appeared on the colonel's forehead. She took her seat at the head of the table without being invited, because she didn't need to be. Every officer eased into their seats only after she did, like they were afraid sitting too fast might offend her. "Let's begin," she said. The major on her left hurried to pull up the screens. The briefing started with recent training metrics, logistics reports, and disciplinary reviews. She listened silently, her expression unreadable. But when she reached the section about the gate security unit, Jensen's unit, she paused. This morning, she said, tapping her finger lightly on the table, a certain corporal attempted to deny access to a vice admiral without verifying credentials first. He also displayed questionable professionalism. The room collectively flinched. Colonel Havers braced himself. Ma'am, I assure you, we will take immediate disciplinary. No, her voice was firm but not angry. I'm not here to destroy careers. I'm here to build a culture. Everyone exchanged confused glances. She continued, he made an assumption based on appearance. That is human, but it is also dangerous. Your personnel need training, not punishment. Retrain the gate units. Emphasize procedure, professionalism, and respect. The colonel let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Yes, ma'am. Immediately, ma'am. She closed the folder. Good. Now let's address the real reason I'm here. Every spine stiffened. I'm transferring a classified operations group to this base. Effective today, command authority lies with me. Silence, shock, awe, and then, yes ma'am, the room echoed. Vice Admiral Raine stood, her presence filling the room with quiet power. And gentlemen, she added before leaving, next time, prepare your gate units better. You never know who might be walking in.